Hello everyone, let's get started. So this is the default app setup I have here, and I have this main.dart, and from main.dart I'm calling homepage, my homepage. This is the file over here, and it's pretty much empty and it's black, and here we have this debug icon, so we'll remove it first. And to do that we need to call property here. It's called, I guess, show debug, something like this, this one, and we'll set it to false. And after restarting, it should be gone. Yes, it's gone. Now there is this black screen color which we don't want, and to do the change we need to call something from here, and of course we need to call safearea. That's what we'll be doing, so that on Android and iOS this top part is visible and our content is not covered by this top part. So we'll call a child, and within child we'll call safearea, and within safearea we'll call another child, and within it we'll call scaffold. Okay, now let's go ahead, save it and run it, and we are pretty good right now. But you see this is a black color over at the bottom and the top, so it looks weird. So we want to give it a default background color. So let's go ahead and assign the background color, and I'll call color, and now it would be coming from a different file. The color, they're coming from app colors, from this variable, and which is imported from this file over here. And I have created a color file, and in the color file I have all the colors needed for our app. So we'll just call the color from here. So the first color we'll call is background. So in my file over here I already imported it as app colors, so all we need to do, call app colors dot background, and let's save it and run it, and it's gone. Now we have the same background color. Okay, and after this, the first thing we want to do, if we go and check our picture over here, so let's go ahead and check it. So the first few things, this icon and this few icons, we want to show them. Okay, well, now every icon should, everything should be gone within, everything should go within this scaffold widget. Okay, and scaffold takes a body property, and within body we want to have say column. Okay, and within column we'll have a container where we'll wrap everything. But first thing, we want to declare children list, as column takes children, and within it here I'll have this thing as a row. Okay, all right, so we can go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and call row. Okay, and row should take the first one is this image icon. Okay, so it'll take children, list of children, and the first one is this image icon, so we'll call image icon widget. This is our image icon widget, and within image icon we can call first one is asset image, and within asset image we'll call this image. So this image is saved in img folder, and it's called menu.png. This is it, and after that we'll assign a size to it, say size 24, and colors dot black. Okay, in general you should assign a default color for image icon. If you don't assign, Flutter will have a default color, something like gray, I guess. So let's go ahead and save it and see. Okay, all right, so right now it is over here. The next thing we want to do is showing those two icons, and those two icons I'll put in a row. Okay, all right, okay, so let's go ahead and call here row, and within the row we'll have this first icon. So of course we need to call children list, and the first icon is we'll call like icons dot it's called search. Okay, we're good, and after that we'll have the other icon. This is called notification, so we'll call icon widget, and within it we'll have icons as a array, and within array we can call other icons, like this is notification, it's already there, and we'll save it and see the status of this thing. So right now they're too close to each other, which we don't want. So we have this two objects here. Image icon is for the first one, and this row is for those two. Definitely we can separate them, and we'll separate them calling main axis alignment property. So main axis alignment dot space between, so there would be as much space available between this and these two things. Go ahead and save it, and we should see there is a change here. And now also these two icons are too close, and we can separate them by using sized widget. It's called sized box. Okay, and we'll have width like 10. Now let's save it and see the result. Okay, now perfect. But now the other thing we see that this is too close to these icons, I mean this border. All right, so it got some padding. That doesn't matter though, but this doesn't have any padding, and but too close. So what we could do, we can wrap this whole thing within a container, and we can give that container margin. Okay, so now this one over here, okay, this two, so this row we can wrap it within a container, okay, and container definitely takes child, and we'll move our row within this container. So option, I think shift option upper arrow, and you can move it. All right, like this. Okay, so now we are good. Let's go ahead and save it. Even after this save, we won't see much change though. It's the same thing. We can apply margin to it now. So margin const edge, well, only, so we just want left and right margin. So left 20 pixel and right 20 pixel. Go ahead, save it and run it. See the end result. Okay, perfect. So now it looks pretty good. Okay, all right. So the next thing we want to do is showing this word over here, popular books. Okay, to do that, the first we'll do declare a row, and within row we'll have list of children. So the first one is container. Okay, and container should take child, and we'll use a text widget for this, and we'll call the text popular books, and we'll apply style to it, basically the font size, style, text style, okay, font size 30, and we are good. All right, and let's go ahead and save it and run it, but I guess we have an error over here. I think we're missing this and this, somehow we missed it. Okay, let's go ahead and run it and see the end result. Okay, all right, so well, now it's over here, and this container is too close to the border, so we can apply margin to it, left margin. So let's go ahead and do it. Margin const edge only, so right margin or left margin, will apply 20 pixels. Okay, perfect. Now as you can see, they're too close to each other, so we'll create a height between them. So we can use this sized box widget, and we'll apply height as a 20. Let's save it. Okay, so of course now it looks much better. Everything looks much better. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is showing this slider over here, left to right scrolling slider. Okay, so to do that, first we'll declare a container. Okay, and within container we'll have child, and within child we want to return page view.builder, and the page-view.builder, it takes a function. The first one is for now we send an it takes two parameters. The first one is empty parameter. The second one is for index, we mention it as I. Actually it could be anything here, it doesn't matter though. And within it will return something, and within it will return another container. Okay, all right. Okay, well now this container will have height, so give it height 180, and we'll provide it a decoration, and we'll use box decoration. And box decoration has border radius, and we'll apply border radius dot circular border, say 15 pixels everywhere. And within it we'll supply image, so we'll use decoration image. Decoration image takes a property called image, and within it we can supply asset image widget, and which takes image path img dot img slash, say for now pick 8.png. That's what I have. And all of my pictures are saved here. Okay, so if your pictures are like this in a folder like img, you also need to set up them in your pubspec.yaml file here, the folder for our assets. So all the assets, this and this, they are all here. Okay, and make sure within those folder you have the correct assets. All right, okay, so now let's go back to our file, this one. Okay, and this one page builder, it also takes a controller, so as a property, and we'll provide a default controller for it, which is shipped out of the Flutter automatically, and it takes a property called view port fraction, and we'll use 0.8 for now. Okay, all right, and well, we'll run it now, but after running there might be an error, and most probably because we are here missing the height again. So this container height and its parent container, they should be same. All right, okay, and another thing we're also missing here, the number of time this should run in a loop. So you need to remember that page view.builder is more like a loop which runs, and you need to tell it how many times to run, and we'll say it should run 5 times, so we'll see the same image 5 times. All right, let's go ahead, save it and run it. Okay, yes, it's there, perfect, everything is working perfectly. Okay, as you can see, we can also scroll it, but now we have this same image which showed up again and again 5 times. We'll change it later. All right, okay, so that's about this scrollable bar over here, or the pictures. Okay, and another thing we need to see that we want to put it over here like in this direction. Okay, but because of port view 0.8, it takes 80% of the screen size, and rest space are used for the other elements. Of course, this is the first element, that's why over here it's empty. So there is no way to put it directly over here in this position. That's why we need to use positioned widget. So we need to wrap everything, all of it, this thing, within a positioned widget. All right, okay, but position widget should be within a container. Okay, and container takes a child, and position should be inside a stack widget. Okay, stack should be inside this container widget. That's what we wanted to say. So now we'll go ahead and call this stack widget, and the stack widget itself takes children, and in this case we'll have only one child, which is container. Let's see. Okay, all right, and over here, well, now one thing is also missing though. This within stack we'll have another child which takes a positioned widget, and within position widget we need to move our container, this one. Okay, all right, and positioned, within position widget we have this container, but it should be stay there as a child. Okay, now perfect. The error has gone, but I think we still have this error over here. Actually, I guess we don't need this one yet here. Okay, let's delete it. Okay, and over here we need to declare this is a list which is for children. Okay, and we should put everything, all this code within this, but now it should not be as a child, it should be as a positioned widget, and just one widget, not as a child. It's part of the children list. Okay, sorry for the mess up though. So while we did it here, we wrapped around this stack widget within this container, and stack takes children, a list of children, and in our case we have only one child at that position, and within position we have this container and everything over here. Okay, but position itself takes a few parameters or properties. The first one is top is 0, left is 0, and right is 0. Okay, now let's go ahead and save it. Nothing different would be seen yet. Okay, we have an error over here, and this error happens something maybe related with the Flutter itself, because if you come over here it will ask you to submit a bug on GitHub. To work around this problem, we need to declare the height property of this container. Okay, so height 180. Now the problem should be solved. So perfect. So remember, this height should be same as the height of this. All right, so all these heights, they have to be same, which is the height of this image actually. Okay, but our ultimate purpose was moving this image over here, but which did not. Okay, now let's change this viewport argument or parameter. Let's change it to 1, and let's see what happens. So it occupies the whole screen actually. I mean, it tries to occupy the whole screen, but of course in our case image is pretty much this size big, but what we could do, we could do another property over here. It's called fit property for image. It's called boxFit.fill. Okay, now let's save it and see the result. Now it's taking the whole width, right? Pretty much the whole width, but this is a bit ugly. Well, that's what we don't want, like this. Okay, so now the other thing we could do to make it more like look alike our screen size and not distorted, I mean not pretty much distorted, so we can apply our image width over here. So width should be from we'll get it from media query and of context dot size, sorry, it should be outside though, dot size dot width. Okay, now let's take it and save it. Okay, well, of course it's pretty much the same thing. So now over here we change it to 8, and we'll see it moved back to its original position. Okay, now we wanted to move it over here, To do that, we can use this left property, because in default when it is 1 it occupies the whole screen. Okay, but when it's 0.8 it leaves this proportion, so that's why it gets inside, because we have used position property. So we can, what we could do, we can minus this property. Okay, so minus 20 pixels, and it will move it to this section over here. Okay, so now it looks like more aligned. So we are done with this section though, and the image change we'll do them a bit later. But another thing we can do, as you see over here, we have this extra this space here, but it's too narrow, they're too close to each other. So we can assign a padding or margin here. So we'll apply, I guess, margin. So apply margin over here. So margin const edge sets only, and we'll assign right margin. Okay, so right margin 10, and let's see the end result. Okay, it's much good looking right now. Okay, and now you see that they're too close to each other, so we want to create a distance for this, like this. So this is the widget or container that's responsible for showing this. So right at the top of this, we could do sized box again, and similarly we'll apply height 20 and save it. Okay, which looks much better. Okay, all right. The next thing we want to do is changing this image, and to change this image, actually we want to load this image from a JSON file, and the JSON file is this one over here. So this JSON file name is popular books.json, which is should be responsible for showing this image. And within this image I have a lot of other information, but we'll only pull the images from this JSON file. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and load this JSON file. Do remember that the JSON file path should be defined over here. As you see, I have my JSON file in JSON folder, so they're over here. All right, now let's go ahead and load this JSON file. In general, you want to load with an init function, which is init state, when the function or things get initialized for that one. And it's a void function which doesn't return anything. Init state. Okay, all right, now we also need to call super.init state. All right, and over here we'll create a function. We'll call it read data. Okay, this one. And now we'll call this function, or create this function, read data. Okay, and within read data we have to call this JSON file. To call this JSON file, we can use a default function. Okay, and it takes a context parameter, and from it, I guess it is a function called load string, this one, and within it we'll supply our JSON file. So JSON file is within JSON folder, and the file name is popular books. Okay, and then we'll try to load it. Okay, yeah, over here all the values say, instead of well, we can just call it S. All right, and over here it's a null though. So what we could do, yeah, and now within it we'll load this using a state function, which is set state. Okay, the set state should load it. Okay, when everything is ready, loaded, streaming is done, it should load within this set state. Okay, all right, so now we'll load it by called JSON. So over here the loading has been done. Okay, and when the loading has been done, we'll decode it. To decode that, we'll call JSON.decode. all right, JSON.decode, and we are passing this one S variable, which has the loaded JSON file. Okay, and we want to apply it to a variable. We'll call it popular books. Okay, of course it should be a list, so we'll go ahead and declare a list called popular books, and for now it's empty. All right, now I think we need to import something called dart.convert from the library .convert, and we should be good after that. Okay, so this is the function read data, and which is responsible for loading JSON files using default asset bundle, and of it there is a function called load string, and you apply the JSON path and JSON file. Once again, it should be this one, okay, within the JSON folder, as you can see, and it loads the file. And then, so after this, actually loading has been done. Once the loading has been done, we'll call a setState function to decode it. Okay, so once the decoding has been done, we supply these values to popular books variable. Okay, now after this popular books should hold these values in the JSON file, and which would be pretty easy to use for us later on. Okay, now this has been done though, and now we need to call this somewhere and get the values from this JSON file. As a, well, of course, when it is here right now, they're all as a string. Okay, so we'd be able to read them easily, and we can actually read them over here. So the first thing we need to check popular books, popular books. Well, it's if it's equal null, okay, then the item count is 0. In this case, nothing would be shown here. If it's not null, then it means it has something. Something is the thing that we are looking for. Then it will take the length of this thing. So in our case, most probably its length is 5, so far I know. So 5 objects over here. Okay, so we have this one. Okay, item count, and item count would be read using this I. You can also call it index. It's up to you, however you call it. Okay, all right. So now the popular book should contain our JSON file and images as a string, and from asset image we'll read them. Okay, so now the first thing we'll do, popular books, we'll call this list variable, and within it we'll find our images. So the first one is I equals 0 should be the first one, and then we'll read the image property like this one. Okay, now let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. Okay, looks like there is an error. So it says that unable to load this thing. Okay, so we must have a mistake somewhere. It returns a future, and if a function or widget returns the future, in front of it we should use await. Okay, and the function that calls the await function, that should also have a keyword called async. So we'll apply async here. Okay, so now let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. If we have things, looks like the same thing. Books.json. Okay, yes, now I was missing this JSON, this well, the type, I guess. Okay, so now as you see, we have different images. Perfect. So these images has been loaded correctly, and they are all lining up correctly. Okay, well, the next thing we want to do is showing this icon, menu button over here. Okay, all right. So to do that, we have to call another widget, but first thing we need to know that we saw in the earlier demo that this is scrollable. So you want to put these things within a scrollable widget, and this should be scrollable too, even though I just have 3, but if you have 4, they would be scrollable. So everything over here, they should be within a scrollable widget. Okay, and scrollable widget most of the time are wrapped around expanded widget. So we'll first declare this expanded widget, and it takes a child, and the child should be NestedScrollableView, because within it we want to scroll everything. Okay, all right, NestedScrollableView. All right, so this is for scrolling, and scrolling has scrolling container, scrolling controller. So we'll declare this scrolling controller over here. Okay, we'll initialize them over here, and first we'll declare them over here. So we need a controller, which should be a scrollable controller. So ScrollController tab ScrollController, and actually in future we need another controller for this tabs. Okay, ScrollController is for the whole thing, and this for tabs we also need a TabController. TabController. By the way, in Flutter, if you have underscore before a variable, it means private variable. Now we declared them there. Now we'll initialize them over here. So the first one is a TabController, and we'll call TabController and its constructor. We'll have this 3 menus, so that's why we'll put here 3, and vsync is this. Okay, and vsync should have a ticker provider, because if constructor takes vsync, the implementer of that function, of that class, or like the implementer of this is this class. So this class should use ticker provider. So we'll call it from here using this with keyword, and then we'll call single ticker provider with mixin, this one. Okay, now the arrow should be gone. So wherever you have this vsync, you have to call single ticker provider or ticker provider. It depends which one you call. And then we'll use initialize the next scroll controller, which is ScrollController, and it should be just a scroll container. So it should ScrollController. Okay, and it takes empty constructor, which means it takes nothing. All right. Okay, so now within this we have to first give the property for controller tab or controller, which is a ScrollController. Okay, all right. So we are good with this ScrollController. The next thing we want to do is showing these things, and for them we'll use a property called a bottom property. Let's see. Oh, sorry. This should be within a header property. So we'll call it headerSliverBuilder. And headerSliverBuilder, it takes a function, actually, anonymous function, and the function takes 2 parameters. The first one is build context, and the second one is a bool variable. I guess it could be anything. We'll call it is scroll. Okay, and then we'll return. Okay, and as we are returning, we need a return function. Okay, and within this return function we'll return a child. This child should be responsible for showing this on the screen. We'll be using SliverAppBar. Okay, all right, we will have only one child within it. As we are returning, we should have this semicolon over here. Okay, now within SliverAppBar, what we could do, we can first pin it. Pin means this should be always there. When this content go up and down, this shouldn't change. So pinned, we'll use pinned equal true, and it has another property. It's called bottom, and it takes a widget called preferredSize. Okay, and preferredSize has we call it for dealing with style and size of this image buttons or this buttons. Okay, and also padding and label padding, things like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and call preferredSize, and the preferredSize takes a size property. So size.fromHeight 50. So all it is saying that you'll have distance of 50 from here to here, like that. Okay, all right, and we have this one, and after that, for styling purpose, we want to wrap this 3 within a container. So we'll have a child here, and we'll call container widget. And within container widget, later on we'll apply margin. For now we can apply margin, but we'll set it to all 0. Okay, and within this we'll have a child, and child should be the tab bar to showing the tabs itself. Tab bar. Okay, well, now tab bar takes few properties. The first one, let's see, well, indicator padding. So the padding for this button left and right. For now, we'll set all to 0, and we'll see what happens and see the result. And after that, we'll have indicator size. So TabBar indicator size level. So the indicator size, something should be here down there. This size should be same as this one, which means the width actually. And after that, what else we have? Let's see. Indicator weight we don't need. We need level padding, and again we'll use 0 for it for now. And what else? Let's see. And it also takes a controller, and controller is the TabController, which we initialized early, and it has an scrollable 2, and then we'll have indicator. Well, indicator would be responsible for showing each of them and the design for them individually, and we'll wrap it within box decoration. And box decoration will give this border radius. Okay, so we'll have border radius, and we'll have circular border, and we'll apply border like 10. Okay, for now. And we'll also apply kind of this shadow over here, as you can see. So to apply the shadow, we'll call the box shadow, which takes a list of children, but in our case we'll have only one box shadow. Okay, so this box shadow takes few properties. The first one is the color. So the color of this shadow should be more gray, and colors.gray, but we don't want complete gray. We want it with opacity 0.2. And then we'll have blur radius to confirm how far the opacity, or sorry, the shadow should be. For now we'll stick to 7, and we might change it in future. And offset is responsible for showing this shadow up and down or everywhere. So in our case we'll show it everywhere. So this first one is responsible for left, right, second one is up and down. So we are supplying 0 for everywhere, which means it should be around this container itself. Okay, all right. Okay, so we are done with this, but of course if we go ahead save it, we will see nothing, and most probably we'll also get an error. Okay, yes, there are many reasons for getting the error. All right, let's see. So it's missing body. Okay, so it doesn't have this body property, which we'll have to implement. And at the same time, this tab bar also has another properties called tabs. Okay, and it takes the children, and these children should be actually these things. Okay, all right, so right now we'll implement it within a container. Okay, container, and the container should take a child, and the child itself should take a text. Okay, all right, so our text, the first one is new. Okay, and it should have style, so we'll use a text style widget, and within it we'll have color. So color of this text should be colors.white. Okay, perfectly white. And what else we can apply? So we'll have this container size and height, width and height actually. So we'll use width, say with 120, and height say 50. Okay, all right. and each of them should have a slight shadow. Okay, so we'll use shadow property over here. So we'll use decoration, and we'll have box decoration, and within this box decoration we'll have border radius. On the border radius should be same as circular and the earlier one, which we used 10. So the actual tab and the shadow and the containing container, they should all have the similar circular or border, I would say border angle, like that. And we'll apply box shadow. So let's go ahead and do it. Box shadow and colors.gray, okay, with opacity 0.2. Actually, what I could do, I could pretty much copy this thing and put it right here. Okay, so this is our container. All right, and because we'll have three tabs over here, so what I would do, I would copy them 3 times actually. Control D, and it missing a comma over here, and one more time Control D. All right. Okay, of course, again, if we go ahead and run it, we'll see an error because we don't have the body property. So we'll apply body property to it. So we'll call body takes a TabBarView, and TabBarView, it takes a children. Well, this children, therefore showing the content over here. As you click on this different tabs, they should have different content. So those content are shown when you click on particular tabs. Okay, well, for now we'll just return a material widget. Okay, all right, so within material widget we'll have this child, and we'll call the ListTile, and ListTile taking a property called leading. Leading is mostly what you want to show at the beginning, so we'll call it circle avatar, and it takes a background color. So we'll give the circle avatar background color colors.gray. Okay, and this ListTile takes another property, which is title. Let me see, ListTile actually should be over here. Title. So title could be any simple text, say content. Okay, so we are pretty much done with this, and now we can copy it 3 times. I'm sorry. So what we could do, we could copy it 3 times. So we have this 3 children TabBarView for this 3 tabs. So now go ahead, save it and run it. Let's see the end result. Okay, so we do have some problem here. Okay, so I have this TabController over here. Let's save it and see the result. Okay, so now we have a pretty ugly looking TabController over here, as you can see. Okay, and it's pretty messed up, but it is scrollable though. All right, so we need to fix it. The first thing we could do is, for fixing over here, this sliver. For preferred size, we can apply a background color, background color, colors.white. Oh, sorry, we can apply it for SliverAppBar itself. Now let's save it and see the result. Okay, so now, while it's still pretty messed up, a few things, the reasons are because for each container, whatever we have here, they don't have any specific color. Okay, so what we could do, we can apply color over here. Okay, so say color equal colors dot so red, and see the result. Yes, the first one is red. Okay, all right. So we can apply colors, but we don't want to apply this color. We want to apply app colors dot menu one color. Okay, this is the first one, and the second one we can apply color menu two color, which should be, let's see, okay, a little red but not exact red. And the third container we can apply a different color, which is menu 3 color. Okay, yes, okay, all right. So we have different color now. Another problem with this container, they are not in the middle, so we want to apply them in the middle. So we can use alignment property, and we'll use alignment.center, which should put everything in the center. All right, but of course that was for the last one. So what we can do, we can copy them. Okay, copy them and apply them, and apply again over here. Okay, all right, let's save it and see the result. Okay, okay, so right now actually it's working. As you see, if I tab on them, it scrolls, and the shadow has also applied. As you see, like this doesn't have a lot of shadow. If I click on it, there's a bit of shadow over here, so everything is good. But so the next thing we need to do, we need to separate them, and also this they're too close. All right, and the size of this text. Okay, so the first thing to do over here, what we could do is change the level padding and things like that. Okay, and indicator padding, yeah, or we can also do from here. Okay, we can apply padding and margin. So let's see how it goes better. So indicator padding, so over here, instead of doing all, we can do only. No, I guess we don't need to do with this one. We need to go with level padding, so only, and we'll apply left padding 10, or go with the right padding, actually right padding 10. Okay, perfect. So we have a little space there, and the shadow is more obvious right now, as you see. Okay, all right, so everything is working, and now they're too close, so we want to get a margin for this. This container should have margin from this container, and remember, these things are all within a container, and this is our container. And for now we set margin to 0, which we don't want. We'll do only, and we'll apply bottom margin, which is 20. Perfect. So now there is a equal space from here to here, here to here, and here to here, and over here, so they are almost equal. The next thing I want to do is apply a little bit padding or margin over here, and I guess we could do it from here though. So we'll apply left, say 10 or 5, also, which suits us better. Yes, so now it's more aligned to these things. Okay, all right, so that's a different one though. Okay, so now we have this color matchup problem, actually, as you see. So we want this color and this color, they all should be same though. And see our color thing over here. So for SliverApp, we should have our color same as this one though. Now we can call it from SliverApp background color over here. So this is coming from app colors dot SliverApp, this one. So but the color should be same, as you can see in our app, so they have the same color. Okay, but over here the color could be different. Later on we'll change them. Okay, all right. So far we are done with this. The last thing I want to do in this section is changing this size. Now they are too small and they have the same content. What we could do, we can declare a different Dart file and save them over there. Okay, we can call them my tabs.dart, and we'll make it a stateless widget. Not much to do over here. We'll call it maybe apptabs better, the function or the file name. File name is apptabs, but the class file name is mytabs. The class name is apptabs. It doesn't matter, but apptabs sounds better. All right, okay. And over here we would initialize few things and pass from this file. So what do you want to pass? We want to pass the text and the color for the background color, this color. Okay, all right. Text color, they all should be white though. We'll only want to change the background color. So these two things, text and color, we want to pass them. So we'll declare variable final color. Okay, and we'll also have final string text. Okay, and we need to get them as in the constructor, so we'll call them this dot color, okay, and this dot text. Okay, we are doing this so that we can reuse the code over here. Right now we have 3 containers, and it's not very good practice of coding, so that's why we are doing it. And the next thing we could do, just copy this part from here and put it within this container over here. Okay, all right, do remember that right now we'd be passing the color from our callee. In our case, callee is this one, or color actually. Okay, so the text color is white, but I think we need to import a library, and this color should be the color that's supplied from the color. So in this case, this dot color, and we should refer to this one, and we'll pass them from this function, from this file. And what else? Also the text itself. So instead of new, we'll call it this dot text. Okay, all right, so this file is ready over here, and I think we have a slight mistake. Okay, good. And we can actually remove them right now. Okay, we don't need this, they're too big. Delete them and call that file. So our file name was my tabs, but the class name is apptabs, so we'll refer them here as apptabs. Okay, and it takes few parameters. Say first one is color, so appColors dot menu color 1, menu 1 color, and we'll apply the text to it. The text is new. All right, so it's asking us to import it, so we'll go ahead and import this one, and we'll copy it 3 times. Okay, and all we need to do, change the color over menu color over here, and instead of calling, well, now let's see, instead of calling new, we can call it home, and let's see what's in our picture. So new, popular, and trending. So actually new, popular, trending. Let's go ahead and save it, see the end result. Okay, now they're taking place, but the text is still too small, so we can change the text size in this file within our text style widget. So font size, say 30. Let's see the result. Oh well, they're too big, right? 30. Let's go for 20. Okay, so it looks much better and clear, and our shadow is also pretty obvious right now. Okay, and so far everything is working, so we are done with this section. So the next thing we'll do, showing content over here. The content should be this kind of, and they should be laid out like this. Okay, so that's what we want to do, is changing this content, which would be corresponding to this tab, and for rest too we'll change later. So definitely we don't want this content first. Okay, so to do that, we can, to get scrollable content, we can use ListView.Builder. Earlier we have used over here, I think we have seen over here we have used page view builder. In general, page view builder, you might do left and right scrolling and up and down scrolling. You can use ListView.Builder. Okay, that's how they're differentiated. And of course, with page view builder, you can use additional page controller, and which takes a viewport like that. Okay, and with it, if you use viewport, you can control the size and the width, especially the width. Okay, so that's why I use page view. But now we'll use list view builder for to be able to do up and down scrolling. Okay, all right, so first go ahead and call ListView.Builder. Of course, it takes a function, as you can see. The first one is an empty parameter, and the second one is index I for looping through it. So once again, list view builder and page view builder, they are more like for loop or loop, which goes through the loop and display content or render content on the page. Okay, all right, and within it we want to return something. Okay, and we return a container. Okay, and this container should have, as you can see here, should have this margin left and right. So we'll go ahead and do it. Okay, so we'll give it a margin. Okay, so margin const edge instance only. So well, I think we can use all though, in this only is better, I guess. So we'll have more control. So left 20, right 20, say top 10 on bottom 10. Okay, and within this we'll have another container, and the container itself will have some style, like as you can see here, border color, and as well as this a shadow color over here, bit of those things. We'll implement all of them. Okay, so to do that, we'll declare a child, and the child should take a container, and the container itself will have say a bit of padding and a margin and things like that. Before that, we can also go ahead and do decoration, box decoration. We'll do box decoration to be able to draw this border over here. Box decoration. So we'll have border radius dot circular, so 10. Okay, all right, and within this we'll also have our box shadow. Okay, so we'll call box shadow, which takes a list of children, and a box shadow over here, and we'll have blur radius, pretty simple too, and offset, say offset 0 0, and we'll have color. So we'll use colors dot gray with opacity 0.2. Okay, all right, so that's the box will have this kind of thing and a property. Okay, and within this we also want another container. Okay, so this container is the big one, like this one will have some style, and within this we'll have another container to contain this image and this information. So we'll call it container as a child, and we'll give it padding, say padding edge instant all, so left and right say 8 pixels, that's better. Okay, and after that we'll have this row, we'll display this information in a row. So go ahead and call child, and it takes a row widget, and within row we'll call children. We'll have few children. So this is the first child, and this would be the second child, but This second child will have a column layout. Later on we'll see. Okay, and so the first thing we want to do, we want to show this image, and we'll show this image within a container, and the container will have height and width. So width say 90 pixel, like this one over here, and height say 120 pixels, this one over here. And once again, it will also have box decoration so that the image itself can get this border radius, round border. So we can copy paste and put it there, but in this case we don't need any box shadow, so we can remove that, and we should be pretty good to go. But now we should show the image itself. We don't have image here, so we can call image, and we'll call the decoration image widget, and it takes image property, and for it we can supply asset image, and for now we can supply a random image which is in our image folder. We'll call it pic1.png. okay, all right. And other thing we need to do, also change the color. You see our, this is like a card. This card has a white background, different than the background of this one. So we'll go ahead and change the color. The color should be changed from here actually, the box decoration, the color over here, because this is the container and container is this one. So we'll call color, and we'll use our app color theme file, app colors dot let's see, TabBarView color. So this is a TabBarView, and which is declared in our file over here. This is the color. Okay, now let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. Okay, pretty good. So we have these things over here, but this is pretty much unlimited. So we want to set a number that the images we show here and where they are coming from. Right now this is a default ListView.Builder, and I guess this unlimited number of images which we don't need. And you can also see that over here, if you scroll, you can scroll it, and there is a light bar here which is perfect. And if you go to different tabs, they show you different content, and everything else is working at the same time. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is change this image and load them dynamically. Right now we just have one image, we are showing it, and that's not what we want. So we need to load our images from our JSON file, and our JSON file should be this books.json file, which I already loaded. Well, I loaded in the project file, but here in the code we didn't load it yet. What we can do, we can copy paste this line and change a few of the things from here. It's called books.json, as we saw a little early. And what else we need to change? See this one. We need to declare the list. We'll call it list books, and we'll change it here. Instead of popular books, we'll call it books, and everything else should be pretty good. Now over here within ListBuilder, okay, it takes item counter. So let's call this property item count, and we'll check books. If it's null, then the length is 0. It means it won't run anything. But if it's not null, we'll show the box length. Find the box length, box this very JSON file length, and store it over here. And now this item count should be similar to this one. So this one and this one should be similar. And if they're similar and the same, then we can loop through them. So to loop through them, I can call this books list array, and we'll loop through it using the index I, and then we'll call the img property within this JSON file. So this is our JSON file, and this JSON file has image property, as you can see from here. Okay, All right, now let's save it and see the result. Perfect. Okay, so now we have different images. Last few images are same, so of course you can change them whenever you want, but everything else is working perfectly, as you can see. So they have the same background color, but the card color is a bit different. Okay, all right, so so far we are doing pretty good. And the next thing we'll do is show this information in a column. Now we'll do the section, this one over here. So this would be in a column, put on the top of each other, and it will also have this space, extra space, which we'll use sized property. Let's go ahead and do it. So currently this container is showing this image, so right after it we can use sized box. So sized box with 10. After that we need to create a column child. Let's go ahead and do it. Column, yes. Oh, I have access brackets, and this column will have children, list of children, and the first one is this, and this has two things, star and this mark over here, the rating. So this child actually inside has two children, so what we will do, we'll use a row to put them together. Okay, so row, and now the first one should be a star, and for this one we can use icon, which takes from icons dot star, and star could be this one, yes, and it also have this color. So sorry, I guess the size for now let's use a 24 and the C, and color is it's coming from apps colors, from this one dot star color. This is the one we can use. Okay, now let's go ahead, save it and run it. Let's see the end result. Okay, all perfect. So the star showed up, but of course it's in the middle because we don't have anything else on the top or bottom of it, so it's in the middle. But as you put more content, it'll go up. Okay, well, the next thing we want to do, using showing the text, and the text, this one rating is coming from our JSON file, and this JSON file is this one, and as you see it has rating. Okay, we'll use it here. So it's coming from books, which we already load early, the JSON file, and it's in a books list. I'll call it books, and index I, and within it we'll find rating. Okay, let's go and save it. Yes, okay, and the color is a bit weird though, so we can use red color. App colors dot I think it's the same menu color as the second menu, this one. Alright, so this style, of course we can't put it like this. We need to put it in a style object. Now it takes a style, text style widget, and within it we can put our style. Okay, let's go ahead and save it. Okay, perfect. And we need a bit of space between these two, so what we could do, we can again use sized box and width, say 5 pixel. Okay, we have an error. Oh, it should be got. Okay, perfect. So the next thing we'll do is showing this text or the book's name, which should be again coming from over here, the title. And so far we know that it's pretty easy. So this is the next child in our column. So So for this one we can use just a text widget and read it from the books list, and find this property, which is our object name, title or key. This is the value, this is the key, this is the value. So it's a title, and I think we also need to assign style. So text style, the font size, so 20, and we can also assign font family. Let's see if we can assign Avenir to it, and font weight, which is font weight dot bold. Okay, all right, now we'll save it and see the result. Okay, perfect. Yes, but now we have an error here, as you see. Oh, it's not an error, the problem it's in the middle, which we don't want. So we can change it to a property called cross-axis alignment, because this is column like this, and column cross-axis alignment should start things I would say what it's horizontally over here, everything to the left. That's what we want to do. To do that, just before children, this children, we can call cross-axis alignment, cross-axis alignment start, save it, and yes, it's working. Now the font size is too big, so we don't want it. Let's go ahead with 16 and see the result. Okay, and now it is good. All right, the next thing we want to show is the subtitle or the text, and we already know how to do it. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just copy paste the earlier line and change this one over here, and we'll call it text. Text is again coming from this key. Okay, and instead of bold, we don't want font family bold over here, and we can use color. So it's coming from app colors, and the subtitle text, this color. Let's save it and see the result. Yes, perfect. And the last thing in this column we want to do is using this love small button here. This was in the original design, I'm not sure why it is for, but we'll put it anyway. Okay, and again we can copy paste this one. We can just write it here because it stays same for all the books. Okay, so let's create a container for this. Container, and we'll give it height, width, so with 50 and height 30, and we'll give it a box decoration or decoration, and the box decoration property, and border radius dot circular, so give it 5, and it'll have color, and again we'll use things from app colors dot I guess it is a love color, I called it, and let's save it and see the result. Okay, well, it's the height and width, they are not correct, as you can see, so we'll go ahead with 60 and height with 20 and see the result. Okay, it's still a bit too high, so maybe 50 might work better. Okay, perfect. And border radius, instead of 5 we can try 3, and now this is the line we can copy and assign it within this container as a child. Okay, and the text, simply we can write here love. We don't need text size is too big, might be. Let's go to 12 and see. Okay, and we need to change the text color, so it's too light there, so we can use just colors.white. And here now we have this alignment property that we need to set it, because right now it's as you see at the very bottom and on the to the left, so we want to put it in the center. So we can use alignment property and alignment dot center, save it and see the result. Perfect, and better, I guess. Height 20, and everything looks good though. So after using height 20, it looks much better. So for now we are done with this section, and we'll do the next section. Next section would be the next page, where we can click on this files, or click on this list, and they'll show a new audio page where we'd be able to play the audio, and rest of the things are working pretty much. So I'll keep this content for your own practice. You can use page builder or ListView.Builder to lay out your content over here, and as you can see, things are working pretty smoothly right now.